Discipline beats motivation, the science behind why most people fail. Imagine waking up one morning feeling completely unstoppable. You promise yourself that today is the day. Today you will wake up early. Today you will work out. Today you will finally change your life. You feel motivated. You feel powerful. You feel ready. And then, 2 days later, everything stops. The alarm rings. You snooze it. The gym is skipped. The plan disappears. And life goes back to normal. If this sounds familiar, you are not weak. You are not lazy. You are human. And science proves it. Today I will tell you a real story backed by neuroscience and psychology that explains one powerful truth most people never learn. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is unstoppable. Stay with me because by the end of this video you will understand why discipline always beats motivation, how your brain actually works, and how ordinary people use this truth to build extraordinary lives. And yes, this story is real. Let me take you back to a small research lab in California. In the early 2000s, a neuroscientist named Dr. Roy Baumeister began studying something called willpower. At the time, most people believed success came from motivation, from passion, from feeling inspired. Dr. Baumeister believed something different. He believed success came from systems and discipline, not feelings. To test this, he ran a famous experiment. He brought people into a room filled with the smell of fresh-baked cookies. The smell was irresistible. Some participants were allowed to eat the cookies. Others were forced to eat plain radishes instead. Then both groups were given an impossible puzzle to solve. The result shocked everyone. The group that resisted the cookies gave up much faster. Why? Because motivation and willpower are limited resources. Once you use them, they drain. This discovery became known as ego depletion. In simple words, motivation gets tired. Discipline does not rely on motivation at all. Now let me tell you the real story of a man who unknowingly proved this science. His name was David. David was not rich, not famous, not special. He worked a regular job. He was overweight. He struggled with consistency. Like most people, David waited for motivation. He watched motivational videos. He wrote goals. He promised himself he would start when he felt ready. And he failed again and again. One day, after another missed workout, David came across a simple sentence in a book. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That sentence changed everything. David stopped chasing motivation. Instead, he made one rule. No matter how he felt, he would do 5 minutes. 5 minutes of exercise. 5 minutes of reading. 5 minutes of work on his goals. No excuses. Some days he felt excited. Some days he felt tired. Some days he felt nothing at all. But he still did 5 minutes. This is where science comes in. Your brain has two systems. The emotional brain that wants comfort. The logical brain that builds habits. Motivation comes from the emotional brain. Discipline builds pathways in the logical brain. Every time David showed up, even for 5 minutes, his brain strengthened a habit loop. Cue. Action. Reward. Over time, his brain stopped asking how do I feel, started asking what do I do next. That is discipline. 6 months later, David lost weight. 1 year later, he was healthier than ever. 2 years later, his income doubled. Not because he was motivated, but because he was disciplined. Here is what science proves. Motivation depends on dopamine spikes. Dopamine fades quickly. Discipline depends on habit formation. Habits rewire your brain. Motivation asks, why should I start? Discipline says, this is who I am. This is why successful people do not rely on motivation. Athletes train when tired. Entrepreneurs work when uninspired. Writers write when blank. Not because they are special, but because discipline removes decision-making.
No debate. No negotiation. No emotion.
Just action. Let me ask you something important. How many times have you waited to feel ready? How many dreams died because motivation never came back? Science says this. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. When you act, dopamine follows. When you wait, dopamine disappears. This is why discipline always wins. Now listen carefully. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from excuses. It frees you from mood. It frees you from procrastination. The strongest people are not the most motivated. They are the most consistent. And consistency is discipline in action. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to feel inspired. You need to show up, even when it is boring, even when it is hard, even when no one is watching. That is how lives change. That is how success is built. Before this video ends, I want to ask you something. If this story helped you understand why discipline beats motivation, take 1 second to like this video. It helps this message reach more people who need it. And if you want more science-based life stories that actually change how you think and act, subscribe to this channel right now. You are not late. You are not behind. You are one disciplined decision away from a different life. What I learned from this story is simple. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Build systems. Build habits. Build discipline. And your future self will thank you. Now go take action. Even if it is just 5 minutes.